I feel like I'm slanted. Okay, y'all, we're here to do this video, real talk, right? I was watching a couple videos from Midas Touch, Tabitha Speaks Politics, who's the other guy? Coach D Speaks, which I only watch once in a while, and some of the news channels like MSNBC, stuff like that. And there's only so much of the politics I can take because I know feeling frustrated or upset is not going to help anything. And so I put on a movie to watch, and then I remembered that one of my members had another video suggestion, and I was like, I have lipstick on my teeth. That wasn't like what I was. This is not the lip I had on earlier. I put this on for this video because I took off the lip I had on earlier because then I had lunch. But I remembered this video suggestion, and I do listen to my members. If you want to have some input on the content I do, becoming a member is a way to do that. It's $2.99 a month. You can cancel at any time. So her suggestion was, shout out to Lock Maiden, who always has really great ideas. She was thinking about the Urban Decay Naked palette, not to buy it, but just thinking about it, how we lovers of makeup just think about makeup. And she said, what if I did an Urban Decay Naked palette reimagined? Because we know this was relaunched. Yes, I have it, and I actually like it better now than when I had it back in the day, because I did not really use these colors over here. I was only using like here to here, which to me felt like a waste. But I've learned a lot since the beginning of my makeup journey, and when I got it this time, the first 6 shades I did one look on one eye, and the last 6 shades I did a look on the other eye, and both looks were really nice. And this came in clutch when I was in Online Makeup Academy, because certain looks they want us to do, and I'm like, I know the perfect palette to do that look, and it was this one. So it does serve a purpose. I still have not used the brush yet, even though I have washed it, so it is ready to be used. But she was saying, her video suggestion was, reimagine this. Like, what would it be like now? Like, yes, this was out however long ago, years, probably 10, 15 years, I don't know. But what would it look like now? And so I'm like, oh. And so it made me feel like, Grace, why you don't need, she'll show you a palette, show you what you might already have that's similar to whatever the new shiny is that just came out. So I went through my stash here, my treasure trove here, and I found a solid 4, but we're going to talk about a 6 palette, and a quint. And surprisingly to me, Natasha Denona has this covered. And I'm starting to feel like her brand is going to kind of be my thing. And I don't consider myself a collector, but I do have a lot of her palettes, and the formula works for me. And I do find myself looking forward to like what she's going to do next, because she does come out with some unique stuff. Some stuff is basic but pretty. Golden, I need a nude, I need a warm, but it still serves a purpose. I really love Circle Loco, and my palettes over there. Biba is a solid neutral palette. Yucca is one of my favorites, or Yucca, because of the color story, and Xenon because it challenges me. And so, and I was surprised by her quints. I was surprised that I liked the look I did with Mini Rose and the pastel palette and Zendo. And I did have Star, but I broke that up and put that in my Xenon Midi palette. But I really feel like she might be my brand. And I have noticed, and I mentioned it before, that if you have a lot from any one brand, stuff is going to look like new stuff that's coming out. And that's why I think like a lot of people who are big into indie, if you're getting this from this brand, this from this brand, this from that brand, this from that brand, it may or may not look alike. But once you get, like, for me, my experience, when I get so much from a certain brand, everything starts to look like something I can do with what I already have. And so I've been feeling like in the last week or so that Natasha might be that brand for me. Like it used to be for other people, for Pat McGrath, but the investors messed that up. Because some people are like, I no longer collect Pat, and I'm like, I never did. But that's beside the point. So my point is, if you have a lot of any one brand, chances are whatever new is coming out, you already have that color story in which you have. And even for me, I have a lot of lethal, and the majority are BYOPs, and so I have all the colors. And so I don't want to say I'm not going on No buy for eyeshadow palettes next year. I'm not going to say that, but I really feel like I could just not buy new palettes and be okay. Or just repurchase when something dies, or make do with something else that I have. But we're going to get into, what do I have from Natasha that could be this palette, or very close to it. And not exact, but the vibe. And so I'm pulling a Grace move here. We're going to look at this and look at other stuff and see how similar they are. And we're not going to do looks or anything. And every palette that I'm going to show you, you've seen, and you've seen looks with, and you've seen looks that I've done with it. And for every palette that I'm showing you, I do have a playlist for. So you can easily just find that on my channel. Like you'll find Urban Decay Naked Palette. We are going to talk about some Natasha Denona. So this is Xenon that has 4 shades in it from Retro Glam. You can look up, you know, Natasha Denona Xenon playlist on my page, and you can find the looks I've done with that. So every palette I have, there's a playlist for, and I do have a Natasha Denona code below, 15% off. It is affiliated. If you don't want to use it, that's fine. If you do, I appreciate it. So let's get into this. So this is the Naked palette, and it was it back in the day, and even now, like, people are still loving it. And what struck me funny though, and I'm just like, some people still had the original one from back in the day, and they compared it to this one, and they were saying how the formula for this is better, blah blah blah. But I'm thinking, but the one you have is like 10 or 15 years old, so of course this is going to seem better, right? What do you think about that? Do you think a 15-year-old palette is going to be the exact same 15 years later when they relaunch it? Like they remade these were not old stock, these are new. So wouldn't you think it would be better formula than a 15-year-old palette? So when I would hear that, I'm like, what? Like, why is that even a thing? Like, duh. But no shame, no shame, no shame, no shame, no shame. I'm not talking about anybody in particular. I'm just saying, I was thinking, like, if it's a brand new palette, of course it's going to be better than its counterpart from 15 years ago, because that formula is 15 years old. So, y'all, I cannot take a lot of politics right now. So I put on House of Willow Street, which I have seen years and years ago, and I did like it, because it's easier for me when I'm not fully focused to watch a movie or a show that I've seen before, because then I don't have to feel like, oh, what if I missed something, because I'm kind of zoned out a little bit. You know what I mean? Oh, hair just came out of this Sigma brush. I saw it sticking up and it actually pulled out. So this is what happens. I'm just all sorts of discombobulated. Or as Fabulous 50ocity said, discombobulated. And I was like, discombobulated? Yo, my friends are as funny as I am. I was like, discombobulated. Isn't it discombobulated? But I didn't say that. I was just like, huh? So let's get into this. The first one I'm going to show you is the Xenon palette. Now keep in mind, I did say 4 of the shades were from Retro Glam. And those shades from Retro Glam are this one, this one, this one, and this one. So we're going to hold up as awkwardly as I can, because I'm awkward, Urban Decay Naked palette. Now, no, the only ones I'm saying is like the grays and the blacks. And I'm saying black even though for me, excuse me for the glare, this one, and this one to me are blue based. And so that would only be for like these two over here. And so we're not going to hold up. Yeah, there's nothing else in here. We're not going to hold this up again. But what we're going to do is, though, we're going to look at the mini Xenon. Even though these two have shimmer in it, the mini Xenon doesn't. So if you have another palette that we're going to see that has most of these shades, particularly these right here, not counting these two kind of purple pinky tones. Actually, I think this is a brown something or other. But this from here to here, if you have something with that, all you need is this mini Xenon palette. So you have your lighter gray here and you have your black here, which actually is a smoke gray in the Urban Decay palette. But they have shimmer in it. These two are mattes. So keep that in mind. If you don't have anything that has these two, but it has a lot of these, toss this in the mix and you got it. and you have it. So we're going to do Natasha's first, and then I found something. I'm like, ooh, this is it too. Excuse me. The golden palette. The golden palette, 1, 2, 3, 4, the ones that don't fit in the pan, those are from the mini star quint. But looking at the golds and the browns, right? The golds and the browns. This is the Urban Decay Naked palette. And pick up the mini xenon for the blue based. Well, that's not blue. And the mini xenon, the black and the gray. Or if you have the mini xenon, you do have a blue based black. But if you look at these shades, trying to get the glares off. Let me hold it down here. So you see how we have, oh, this is great right here. We have those golds, the light tans, the dark tans. Yeah. So that's the golden palette. And I do think, well, I don't know if most of us have that, but I would imagine most of us have seen it. This is the nude palette. I'm gonna tell y'all something. I'm really liking this palette. And I think I'm liking it because it is unique to my collection. Because y'all know this ain't my color story. Y'all know this. Y'all know this is not my color story. I do like the looks I've done with it. They were basic, but they were pretty. Like this shade right here does a lot for this palette. This shade and this one gives it a little variety. It's all just not basic. And this pink shimmer up here. And I mentioned it to one of my peeps. I think I'm gonna keep this for me. I purchased it for my kit. But I'm really enjoying this palette. And I do think because it is unique to my collection, and even held up next to I Need a Warm and Golden, all three are different. Same vibe, basic but pretty, but the colors are different. And so for now, this is going to be mine. And if or when I get to the point where I'm just like, yeah, no, then it will go in my kit. But right now, this is mine. And it surprised even me to have that feeling like, do I want to keep this for myself? I purchased it for my kit. I really am, y'all. This is mine. This ain't for the kit anymore. Maybe down the road, because I do have the sanitation spray for makeup. So we're going to hold this up with the Naked palette. So everything, how many shades is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the first 7 shades, this being number 1, are in the I Need a Nude. Wait a minute, that's not this. Yeah, this is the I Need a Nude. We even have, I wish I had another hand. We even have this shade right here. That could be this one right here. And because, oh, I'm so awkward. And because this has a pinky tone to it, let me slide that over there. Y'all, I am so awkward. That can be this pink right here. Oh, that could be that pink right there. I hope y'all saw that because I'm too awkward to be trying to do this. This could be this pink right here, even though this one has more shimmer. But y'all, we got this. We got this. And even this dark brown, did I say that? That can be this brown. And definitely the shimmers. This, what am I looking at? This bright shimmer, that could be, what was I just looking at? That could be the one right under it. That could be that one. The one that's right under it, these two right here. Stuck my finger in it, of course. So I was looking like, because when she had mentioned that, I'm like, and then I remembered all of this side, and I'm like, we have this right here. And these two, this is MIDI or the mini xenon for just these 2 dark shades. So I'm just like, so even though people were excited for this to come back, and I did purchase it on sale when it came out, we already have it. If I can stop sticking my fingers and stuff, we already have it. We do. And I'm looking at these other shimmers. This shade can maybe be that one. I think that's a matte though. So maybe this one right here for this one. We have these shades, y'all. We have them. So if you are wanting this and you didn't get it, if you have golden, if you have I Need a Nude, if you have the mini xenon, you already have the Naked palette. The last Natasha one I'm going to show you Thank you, Locke, for this video suggestion. Because I really want my head. I think I only watched maybe 5 of those videos, and they were less than like 20 minutes. But that's all I can take. And what it is for me is, I know I'm detouring. Some of the people that he's picking for members of the administration, there's allegations of SA, trafficking. Did I say this in the beginning of this video? I don't know. But it made me feel sick to my stomach because this is who people voted for. And his charges is like, why would he not pick certain people? You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, so it just starts to fuck with my head. And so thank you, Locke, for this. Because I said, I'm going to watch this movie, edit the 2 videos I did before midnight. Now it's like 3 a.m. I'm nocturnal if you're new here. Nocturnal if you're new here. So that is not unusual. I think I said nocturnal. Nat Turner. Peanut butter jelly time. I'm tripping. But yeah, so thank you for this. Because I'm like, I'll just play that movie because I've seen it before. I don't have to like sit and look at it. I'm not going to miss anything and edit videos. And then I said, you know what? I'm going to do this video. So thank you, Locke, because so this is I Need a Warm. And I do like this palette. Somebody has said all the looks were pretty, but they were basic. I said, that's the perfect description. And you see all the tans, the browns, the shimmers. Look at this. That's what this is. I do think these shades here, sorry to give you the finger, I do think these are more I Need a Nude versus I Need a Warm. But when you get them on the eye, depending on your undertone, it may still show up the same. Some stuff may look cooler or warmer or more neutral, it depends. But the vibe is here. From here over, I Need a Warm. Excuse me, or I Need a Nude. And so what am I looking at? I'm looking at this dark brown, third from this corner. Let's see if I can line it up and not be awkward. That could be the brown right on top of it. And actually that's the 5th shade over. But what I initially was looking at was this one. But when I held it up under here, that looks like that could be that one. Maybe. But the one in the Natasha's palette looks a little darker. Let's slide it over here. Yeah, so it's not, it could really be this one, for real, for real. So, y'all, we have this stuff. We have this. And I would have never thought about it. Because I don't think about, oh, this palette, what do I have? The only times I'll think about it is if, actually, I don't really think about it. I really don't. The only times I think about it is when I'm watching Grace's Why You Don't Need, or if she's on Colorful versus Muted. But then a lot of those palettes that I don't have, because a lot of them have pressed pigments instead of eyeshadows in them, I think about my lethal stash. And as I mentioned earlier, the majority of them are BYOPs. And I'm thinking, I have something similar in a way that is more suitable for me. I like the dark. I like the black base multi-chromes, the black base dual chromes. And for Lethal's metallics and shimmers, they are popping. And so if I see a palette and I'm like, that color story is not as bright as I would want it, or the dual chromes or multi-chromes are white based versus, you know, black based, I'm like, I can dupe that with Lethal and it would be more my speed because of the undertones of those shadows. And so I have one more palette to show you. So, and I also think that Lethal is going to kind of be it too, but then sometimes I think not, because every palette is not my vibe, so to speak. And because I have so many BYOPs, it's like I have the colors I want, you know what I mean? And I was looking at the new one that'll be launched on whenever this sale is, I think the 28th of November. But when I was reading the description, it said somewhere in there, you know, such and such matte formulas and then pure metals. My lids did not tolerate the pure metals shadows that they have. And I don't know how many pure metal shadows are in that palette. And also, I don't know, because if the shades are sold individually, then I could just buy the ones that I want, like I did for Metamorphosis and Evergreen. But let's get into this last palette. Y'all, I cannot even apologize for being scattered, because I told y'all where my head is at. But that may have been like sniffing coffee beans after you sniff a perfume and before you sniff a new perfume. So that might be like that. So I'm tossing in this sidebar stuff to get your mind off the last palette I showed you so that you can appreciate what I'm showing you with the next palette. That's my story and I'm sticking to it. Yo, this one, I was like, oh, MAC Cosmetics. This is the Unfiltered Nudes palette. What you see on the outside is what you see on the inside. This has almost everything except that black and that gray from in the Urban Decay Naked palette. And I was just like, what? So we have some of the lighter shade. Like if you look where my pinky is, that can be up here. And even though this one is peachy and this one up here, I keep sticking my fingers and stuff. Girl, I was always awkward, y'all, even as a kid. Always. So this could be this one. Maybe the tones are different, but the vibe is the same. And this shade, that could be that shade. And as far as the shimmers in here, the MAC formula, these are more satin than shimmers, but it's still the same vibe. And you have your dark brown. And look at these two pink ones right here, lined up. The fourth one in for the Urban Decay one and the second one in from MAC. We have these shades. We have them. This is a matte and the Urban Decay is a shimmer, but look at the color though. It's the same color. And even this one, the fourth one in again, with the first one down here, that could be that. And some of the other shimmers, which am I going to be able to hold this right? Probably not. Like some of these shimmers. Look at that. Look at them tones. I did look at Pat Subliminal and Subversive, but they're just way different. But this right here, though, I'm like, we have this. So just to recap really quick. MAC Unfiltered Nudes. Everything except this blue and this black shimmer right here. Oh gosh. Okay, here I go being awkward again. So MAC Unfiltered Nudes that you can get from Sephora if they still carry it there, when they have their coupon that includes Prestige, or from the MAC website. And I do have links for all that below. I Need a Warm has this whole half side of the palette. And more browns to choose from. So we have that one. We have I Need a Nude. This was shocking to me. I mean, I was just like, we really have these. Especially the shimmers for this one, for the shimmers for the Urban Decay one. But even with, a few of the browns. These two right here. I mean, I was just like, damn. And so when she said reimagine, I'm just like, I don't have to really reimagine because like we have them. And these are all Natasha's except for the MAC one. And this one is golden. With the yellow metallics and the tans and the browns. And every time I see one of Grace's Why You Don't Need, or even when she does her shorts doing palette comparisons, it reminds me there is barely anything that is unique anymore. The formula may be different, but other than that, we got those colors. And just for these last two up here, that gunmetal gray and the black, even though they're shimmers, but even in, look at these two right here. The one in Xenon is darker blue, but that could be this outer corner color. And the darkest one that looks most black, but not quite, is Night Sky. We can substitute that for this shade. You see what I'm saying? And actually, both of these, look at that. Look at that. So, we have them. And if you have golden, I Need a Nude, I Need a Warm, or the MAC one, get the mini Xenon, and you have this Urban Decay palette. That's all I can say. We have them. And I do recommend you do look at Grace's channel, because chances are you already have whatever she's going to show you. And she shows comparisons too. You know what I'm saying? And so if you're trying to cut down on how much you're spending on makeup, particularly eyeshadow, hers is a good channel to watch, because she's going to show you dupes. If nothing else, she's going to show you dupes. And also Nina on Instagram, she does comparisons as well. So Nina's comparisons, from what I saw, are mostly on Instagram, whereas Grace's, you can actually sit and watch the video. But if you just want to see pictures, go to Instagram, check out Nina. And here on YouTube, check out Grace. And so that's going to be it for this video. Thank you again, Locke, for this wonderful distraction, because y'all know I love makeup. And I really just needed to get my mind right. And so this was like the perfect time for me to do this, because I didn't intend to. But y'all always need to decompress after watching even 4 or 5 videos, even if they're like 15 to 20 minutes. I always need to like do something afterwards to decompress, because y'all know what's going on. I don't know if you're for it or against it, but you can probably guess what side I'm on. But either way, it's a shit show. And I'm just like, what the fuck is this country doing? And why these people vote the way they voted? And some that didn't vote. So it's just like, you can't say shit. I was told that when I was first eligible to vote, when I was of age to vote, they said, if you don't vote, don't complain. And I'm like, I'm voting, because there was a time when, as a black person, black people couldn't vote. So I'm like, I'm gonna vote, damn it. I'm gonna use every right that they give me. And so I have voted like every year, every election, and even like the local stuff. I've voted because I can do that. And our voices are important. And we will make sure that they are heard. This is not a political channel. And I try so hard not to talk about stuff, but yeah. So if you have Mac Unfiltered News, Natasha Denona Golden, Natasha Denona Xenon, Natasha Denona Mini Xenon, Natasha Denona I Need a Nude, Natasha Denona I Need a Warm, you have the Urban Decay Naked palette. So you see what I'm saying? With all these freaking Natasha palettes, for this one, for just this one, any one of those I showed you except Xenon, you have all of this except those 2 dark shades. And this is inexpensive. So you can get this to go with it. So thank you for being here. Let me know your thoughts on, have you thought about these palettes? I always feel like I say palette funny. Have you considered these palettes as a dupe for the Naked palette and or Unfiltered Nudes? So let me know that down below. Thank you for being here. Stuff is popping up for you to watch. Membership information is down below. Playlist for everything that I've shown you. If you want to see that, just hang tight, hang around. If not, I'm always here, so you can come back and see what's going on. Make sure your notifications are turned on to all, because I'll be posting stuff on my community tab too. So thank you for being here. I didn't do the intro, but as always, self-acceptance, self-love. That is the Crazy Troll Nation way. I will tag Locke below. Make sure you check out her channel, and you will see me soon.